Were you selling insurance in Atlanta or Macon?
Both. I sold insurance in both. I started at Geico here in the Macon office in 2011. After in 20, it was actually I started in 2011. In 2012, I was in a car accident where this. Okay, let me start back. So I started in 2011. I ended up being in a car accident in 2011. I was coming home from Victoria's Secret, Victoria's Secret one night, and it was just a dark night in September. And I'm sorry, a dark night in December. And so, just coming down Forest Hill Road, if you're from Macon, and this guy just literally walks out in front of my car, like walks out in front of my car. He passes away. I'm thankful that, the story is that he was just very drunk that night, and his last words were like, fuck it, they'll stop. But that was just like a very traumatizing moment for me because, I'm here, I have a daughter, she's not even 1 year old yet, and, it was just, it's the traumatizing story. I'm thankful that, we went through all the courts, and I, it was nothing that I did on my end, but, it was just a traumatizing time. And then I started at Geico. And then 6 months later, I was in another car accident, and that's when I broke my femur and I had to learn to walk all over again.
What did you learn about yourself personally in that part of time through all that adversity?
What I learned about myself. What I learned about myself is to just your inner strength. I feel like I'm still here because of my inner strength. It's just knowing that, don't worry about what people have to say about you. Especially if you know what happened, make sure that you have a very strong relationship with God. Like, my relationship with God is the most important thing to me. I make sure I get up in the morning, I make sure I pray, and I thank God for another day because, you may face adversity. Things are going to happen, but it's how you overcome them. It's how you're able to help the next person, when they go through something.
Now, I want to get your opinion on Macon. Well, first, what is the difference between Atlanta and Macon for you? Like, for me personally, like when I was in college, I went to college in Delaware, and when I tell people I'm from Georgia, they say I'm from Atlanta. That's the only city they know.
Yes.
So, other than that, they think you're from the country, but they don't know it's different cities out here as well. So, what do you think, sets Atlanta apart from Macon? Also, what are some of the similarities?
What sets for me Macon and Atlanta apart is the opportunity. Atlanta has a lot of opportunity, and I think it's because of, for whatever reason, the state puts most of its resources there, and so most of the people, they flock to Atlanta. Personally, I lived in Atlanta a few times, and I really like the opportunity, but for me sometimes it could be a little bit much. Macon, I love Macon. Macon has a lot of potential, but Macon has still so much growth that it has to grow. Even when it comes to like politicians, I don't know what it is, but it's just still a slave mentality. Nobody wants to see anyone get too much far ahead than the next person. And that's something I feel like Atlanta doesn't really worry about. It doesn't matter who wins. If one win for one person would be a win for all. So, that's just, one of the things I think.
What are some of the things that you want to see change? Some of the differences you want to see in Macon?
One of the differences that I would love to see is just more of unification, more young black professionals. Just having people come together to really support each other. Macon is a little bit ratchet. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like it has to grow. It's not necessarily about still going to like Studio 32. Like, you have to grow up, and I feel like it's not that many role models here, or at least people that are willing to speak up and say it's more to life in Macon than just the hood.
From around the time me and you around the same age, like from around the time you were coming up and growing up and making, like, do you feel like it's been a progress as far as the community goes, politics, anything, education system?
Yeah, it's grown a bit. I know when I was younger, it was more a more black entrepreneurial presence, and even now, I'm young. I'm an entrepreneur now, and I don't feel like it's as supportive in the industry. I don't see people really reaching out to each other and pulling together to help each other.
Operation Slate Cancer. Kind of, talk about that.
Operation Slay Cancer is a look good, feel better. Operation Slay Cancer is a look good, feel better breast cancer non-profit. We specialize in just bringing out your inner beauty. I know when you look good, you feel good. That's something that I wanted to bring. Even being being a makeup artist, I wanted to have women affected by breast cancer know that even though you go through things, you may have a double mastectomy, you may have your hair fall out. It's different things and different symptoms that come along with breast cancer. But you do not have to, you don't have to lose your confidence. Know that you can be healed. Know that you have a support system, and know that there are people out there rooting for you going through that. My mother is a breast cancer survivor. This is year 5 for her, and she inspired me to start Operation Slay Cancer. I just saw her go through so much emotionally, and a lot was because of the different changes that the breast cancer had brought upon her. For instance, having a double mastectomy, just not being able to look the same in your clothes, or whether it was hair thinning. So I wanted to formulate something to know that was catering to black people, because that's very important, and that's very important in what I do. We work with all women. We are not biased, but we want to make sure that we have something to cater to the African American woman, because there's so many different health disparities in our community. There are not as many resources available, especially outside of Atlanta. And that's one thing that I want to keep in this organization. I want to make sure that in the Macon and surrounding areas, whether it's Dublin, whether it's Reynolds, Georgia, wherever we have the ability to make these women feel great about themselves.